Welcome back to Watchfire Hobbies and our Back to the Bases program. Today we're doing our mud grass land space. Now this is an upgrade of our old goblin green and simple flock across the top of the base, which even adding all these rocks and little bits in it still makes the base look very flat. If you just compare the two, the one on the left, the Pistolier, really creates much more realistic. So the process here is very simple. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cover the base with Vallejo Diorama FX. This is earth brown. We're going to paint it. So get whatever color you want. So just take your earth brown here. Get a good thing on the tool. Spread it out, cover every bit of the base. And then work with your excess, and then come back through and really start creating that texture with the base. I do this by lifting up the tool and creating some divots in it, really just kind of creating a texture. This will dry lower than it actually is a little bit, but still you're going to get that good texture. Then we're going to come back in and we will start the painting and ground basing process. And for the next step, we're going to use probably one of my favorite browns. It's the Rhinox Hide from the Games Workshop range. We're just going to cover this whole base. Now I water this down to get it better in all of the textures, but you can just use more if you want. I use this paint for pretty much everything. Dirt, mud. Also, if you really want a rust effect, which I'll cover later, this in orange makes a wonderful rust effect. And there we have it. For our next step, to really bring out that level 2, we're really going to choose 2 dry brushes. This is a Doom Bowl Brown from the GW range, and the Warbrass Green also. So just load this up, and then just come over here, knock your thing down, come back in, and just quickly dry brush, just really to get in those edges. And this is kind of an all-over dry brush to really kind of make it more of a reddish earth. Which Doom Bowl is good for that. Also, Doom Bowl on sides of bases really helps. It's not a huge contrast, but we're not looking for a huge contrast on this one. So, let's come again. And then you can actually do this while it's still wet. I come back in, I just do a spot dry brush of Warbrass Green. This kind of makes it look like mosses or whatever's growing in the grass. Again, not really, this might not be a necessity, but I think it helps, especially on larger bases, cavalry bases. But I just come in and just tap a couple spots. As you can see, I did this while the Doom Bowl is still wet, but I think it really adds stuff to the base. So that's how it will look. Again, you can just go from here and add a little bit of grass flocking and call it done. But I think we really, on this one, go to the extra level and add the grass tufts. It really ties the army together. And here we have my grass flock container, just a storage container. This is diorama flock from, I believe, a train store. A couple hedges, couple rocks. You know, and then one thing I always like adding is I cut the bristles off an old paintbrush to really just kind of create a different texture. So what we're going to do is we're going to just put some PVA glue on the base and dunk her in. One thing to remember when you're doing bases, especially for rank and flank games, old world, etc., is that your bases are going to line up next to each other. Sigmar, 40k doesn't really matter as much, but I always try to base an entire army at this stage together. So I'll finish, 2 ranks of soldiers, and then I will come in and make it so the bases line up. So just going to put some glue on this. So we have to open the glue, and then we can get it to work. We'll just put the glue on here. And like I said, try to make shapes. And if you're making it across the whole force, you can actually paint the force, get to this stage, and then this will be like the last thing. So try to create 2 or 3 little splotches. I'm doing 2. I'm also having one end right here is the only end that's going to touch the edge, because that will allow me to really have, this one next touch the edge too. So that means the guy next to him should have grass here, and the guy behind him should have grass here. Then we'll just dunk it in. cover it, put some other stuff on it, take it off, and look at it, it's completely covered in grass. So just give it a couple seconds, then we knock it off, and we'll get those shapes out. So, and there you go. So there's our shapes, and now we just get to add our model and our tufts. Actually, at this time, I don't have any Imperial State Troops painted up yet, so I will eventually paint that up and get that on there. But I'm just using some graph tufts. I bought these cheaply on Amazon, and they're like 200 in here, so there's like 4 little sleeves of these. So I'm just going to probably put 2 on there, you know, just to create a little depth. And then, you know, paint the sides with another coat of Rhinox hide, and this base is ready to go. Now, the issue buying these cheap tufts is that they're supposed to have the super glue that actually, you know, sticks. It doesn't, so I do have to glue them down. So, putting that right there. And now you can do this while these are really wet. I usually give it a couple minutes to dry. See? And then all you need to do, like I said, is paint the sides and we're good to go. Okay. I did want to show about once you rank up the troops, how, you know, you kind of line them up. You see how this one's a little bit bigger than there. Your eye does adjust to it. But if this one was right next to here, you know, it might look a little bit better. But just trying to keep all the, for lack of better words, the grass flock blobs touching where they are, especially on a rank and flank, really helps sell the thing. And then for the cavalry, if you notice, I use a couple different ones. These are the woodland shrubs. It gives a little bit more height. Again, it's not needed to use multiple types of the tufts, but like I said, cavalry makes it look a little nicer, especially, you know, these bases are a lot bigger. As I stated before, this is really an update to your classic green goblin grass bases, and I really think works, especially with a rank and flank, kind of a grounded as Warhammer can be, force of the old world. Well, thanks for spending some hobby time with me today. Until next time, enjoy your hobby.